Hello and welcome to Ups and Downs, the podcast that shares successful and not that successful stories from the entrepreneurial world in Finland. Today, here in the studio, we have it's alright. Today, here in the studio, we have Peetu, a co-founder at Buutti, and Jonas. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, and it's pleasure to have you here. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm doing great. Waiting for Christmas currently, and nothing to complain about currently.
Nice. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Peetu Nuottajärvi, and I've been an entrepreneur now for 10 years, and I started from software developer background. I studied computer science and engineering in the university for 4 years, and then I kind of dropped out. But I started my entrepreneurial journey in my first year of uni. I did my first application, and Buutti was, I think, my third business endeavor.
Okay. Third time is a charm.
Third time is a charm. Well, the first two were quite a bit smaller. This was like the first big company that I started. So now I'm 29 years old. I just sold my first company, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Nice, congrats for that. As you mentioned, like Buutti was acquired. It was acquired this year, right?
Yes, the sales happened in September. The 1st of September was the official date for the acquisition.
Okay. And you're still part of the team?
Yes, I'm working at Buutti.
Yeah. Your plan is to continue doing it, right?
Yes, at least currently. You never know what happens in the future, but I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to stop programming.
Yeah. Nice.
Maybe some point if I get a new idea on what I want to do, but currently it's nice to have a day job.
Fair enough. And do you mind sharing with a few words what Buutti is? What are you doing there?
Yeah. So originally we started as a software education business. So the first thing that we did was actually before Buutti was even founded. Our main founder Dan had this Koodikärpät summer event where he taught kids between ages 15 to 17, and there were a few older people, but mainly kids between 15 to 17, some programming, electronics, and different tech stuff. And I got really excited when I heard about it. Unluckily, I had a job already for that summer, so I wasn't part of the first Koodikärpät, but when I saw it going on, I visited there a couple times to see how it was going, and I got really excited about it and thought that I really want to be a part of whatever Dan is going to do next. And we also got couple other people involved, and the first year we were mainly just teaching programming. We still do teach programming, but it has moved a bit on from that. Our main business now is software development. After a year of education, we kind of realized that we had 5 founders at that point, and it's really difficult to grow that education side fast enough to pay salary for 5 people. So we realized that we really need to do something else on top of the education part, and we were thinking we're all software developers, so why not just start developing software, and that's what we did. And I don't know why, but that business just started growing incredibly fast. And of course, when something is growing really fast, even if it's at that point like the side business, you don't stop growing. That you put more effort to the software development side.
It's interesting because, yeah, how many years it took from starting it, like to a successful exit?
So we started Buutti in 2017. So five years,
Okay.
5 years, bit over 5 years,
Okay.
or 6. I can't count. Sorry, I'm an engineer. I should know how to count. 6 years. Yeah, 2023 minus 2017. 6 years.
And where you met Dan, your co-founder?
I think how we met our co-founders is a quite fun story.
Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I can share the story. So, Dan, it's not too exciting. I saw him at the our guild, the computer science guild, basically. So the I don't know the English word. What it's like there's a student organization.
Yes,
that
it's
for the
good.
computer science. Oh yeah, all right. And so I met him there. One of my good friends had started 1 year before me because I went to do my military service, like most Finnish guys do. So he told me about this guy Dan. That's like really cool, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to meet this guy when I'm starting the studies. But Dan had gone to China to do his exchange, so I didn't meet him until my second year. Yeah, in the second year I met him the first time because my first year he was in China. And yeah, he seemed like a fun guy, so we became a little bit of like at least acquaintances. I don't know if friends is a bit too strong word for knowing someone a couple months, but we like knew each other, and I liked him, and then I learned about his business stuff, and I was also really into business myself, so it was a great match. Then the third guy was known as Husiani was known as like a robot man of the university. He had these cosplay electronics suits with like Iron Man and Transformers, and he was also building this massive Terraleon robot. Maybe some people have seen it if they have visited the University of Oulu when it was still there exhibition, and it was like this 3 meters high blinking lights robot statue thing. And yeah, it was like a guy who I could do stuff, and Dan had also kind of like seen that this guy could be cool to start a company with. And then there was like 3 of us, yeah, we quickly realized that we have absolutely no knowledge of how to actually run a business or anything related to finance, economics, like business. So we realized that maybe we would be better off if we got someone who had studied business. So we just sent an email to the Oulu University Business School Student Organization Guild emailing list, and said like, yeah, we are 3 engineers and we want to start a company. Any of you business guys want to jump in? And we got 2 applicants, and then from those we selected Mikko, and Mikko is currently the CEO of the company. He started as the sales guy and the business guy, but I think that's the CEO role is pretty natural for that type of person. So after a few years we made him the CEO of the company. And now there's 4, and the 5th guy I originally met in a hot tub at Valhalla, which is I think it's the doctor who studied to be like medical doctors.
Okay.
Their organizations like party house. So I met him originally there, and he had at that time a company that that company still exists, but they taught children programming.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. Can I work for that company? And I did for for half a year before we started Buutti. I was working as a programming teacher for his company as well. So that's how I met the fifth guy.
Mika,
yes.
okay. He's the CTO, right?
Mika is the CTO of the company currently. He's super smart. It's kind of annoying because I think of myself like that I'm pretty smart and everything, and then you go and meet Mika and he's like better at everything. It feels like, but yeah, it's I think in starting a business it's always great to find guys that are like better than you are. Like what is the saying? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So it was great to find people who were doing stuff better than I am. So I'm good at my own stuff, but not at everything, of course.
And now, like a quick transition towards Jonas, a project that is relatively young. It's from April this year. It started during the startup weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing? Because I spoke with already with your other co-founder, and I'm interested to hear your part of the story.
All right.
So
Sure. So the original idea came from Lasse Kauppinen, who is CEO of Tool4Pro, and I met him at Tahko. There's this pitching competition. I was taking part as a guest to the event and watching the pitching competition, and in the after party I met Lasse and was discussing, and he told me that I have a idea for software as well. Like, wouldn't it be cool that instead of sitting here in the line, which we were doing, waiting for the drinks, we could just order them on on our phones. And I think I'm a person who gets excited pretty easily, but this idea got me really excited about it, and I was like, I felt like I don't really have time now because all the acquisition stuff and everything, it just felt like maybe there's a little bit too much on my plate, but I got so excited about it that I really wanted to build it. So I went to startup weekend because I knew that I didn't want to do it alone. It's because there is too much on my plate. I can build the software, sure, but doing everything else related to the business, that would probably be too much. So from startup weekend I found Mikko, and I had also met Mikko like the last year in this cottage trip for young entrepreneurs. So I had known him beforehand, and he's like a seems like a stand-up guy who's like he has a good attitude for business. I like how he thinks. So yeah, we partnered up. I've been building the software, and I originally thought that it would probably be like a month's job, and then I built the month for the first prototype, and I think it worked fine. And then we realized that it doesn't have like the half the features that we require to actually launch. So yeah, it took a little bit longer than I thought.
Yeah. Just a second. I assume this is the TV.
It's a TV.
Okay.
Yep. You can cut that.
Nah, it's alright.
So yeah, I started building the application, and then I continued. In the first month I got a lot of it done, but of course, like over time it gets more difficult to work on stuff. So I spent my holiday on it, and then every month I spent like 1 or 2 weekends, or if I'm on a bus, I'm programming it and trying to keep it like chill so I don't ruin my mental health. Yeah. But so of course then the progress is a bit slow, but now we're finally in the position that we can release in January, at least for the testing customers. Okay. Everything seems to work now. Of course, there's some bug testing. Maybe we'll find something that doesn't yet work. I hope not, but at least with the Christmas holidays coming up, I have more free time to do some programming stuff. So
yeah, I think you're planning to start from Oulu. do
Yep.
like a few pilot tests here? Have
Yeah.
like your, let's say, beta customers?
Yeah, I would call it a beta. Like, I think business should be validated quite early, and I didn't quite make it. I think I built too much features beforehand, but I built the wrong features. It's difficult when you're a programmer and you get excited about programming something, and then you
Is it going
yeah,
to? Yeah.
then you program stuff that it's not yet really needed.
Yeah.
That could be just like put in the we'll do that later pile. But it's like when you get excited, you just want to build it. So I built a lot of features, and now of course I suffer from it as it's not completely ready. But I have some features that are not that useful. But finally, I think we have all the features that we need to release for the beta, and see how it works. And validation step, I of course hope that the validation goes well. If it doesn't, then I don't know, try something else.
Okay.
But yeah, of course it's just one position. If this place doesn't work, maybe we try something, a different customer. But yeah, I hope the validations go well. If they go well, we start the company, found it officially, and then try to get as much customers as possible, and maybe scale the team a little bit, get some programmers that don't have day jobs on the side. Get someone who can actually devote their time on it. But for that we need to prove that the idea works, so that it's worth funding. Like throwing money to a project that you don't know if it's any good I don't think that's a good idea. At least when you can do it yourself. If you can't, then you can't. Like, what are you gonna do? But if you can build something yourself, build it before putting money in it. Yeah.
Speaking about funding, are you planning to raise some capital with Jonas?
Yeah, I think next year, if the validation goes well, it depends entirely on the validation. If the validation is super successful, and we can see like potential in it, and we get good data, I think that's the point where I would like to get some external funding. Currently, I don't think. Currently, if I just went and tried to get for funding, I think the problem would be the value of the company. Like, how do you measure it if you don't have any data? And the biggest problem with that is that, of course, the valuation of the company is not going to be as high as it would be, and I don't want to give it away for free. Of course, I'm in a privileged position where I can also fund it myself. I know that most people aren't, so I don't want to sound like that's the only way you can do it. Like, of course, people's situations are widely different, and you always need to do what's best for your own company. But in my case, it's much more valuable for me to put 10 or 20,000 euros of my own money in the company, and then try to get the valuation to be somewhat reasonable. So instead of giving half of my company away for 50k, I can give maybe 5% of my company away for 50k. So trying to get a reasonable valuation before trying to get some funding.
How you got into software?
How I got into software? I've actually wanted to. I've wanted to be a software engineer for longer than I knew what software engineers kind of do. Okay. Like, when I was a small kid, I used to draw. I had papers filled with like plans, like designs, and they were designs for like games, designs for phones, and also for like phones user interfaces. Which I think now, as an adult, it sounds super weird that like a 9-year-old kid, instead of like drawing dragons or knights or whatever kids usually draw, or playing outside, I was just inside designing Nokia mobile phone user interfaces. But I grew up in technology village area, so a lot of my friends' parents were Nokia employees, so I grew up in this technology bubble pretty much. Like my dad studied electrical engineering and all his friends are engineers, so it just always felt pretty natural that I want to be some kind of software designer or maybe develop them myself. I think I built my first game when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
But I didn't program it. I didn't know how to program, but I had this. I used Game Maker Studio. It's a bit like visual scripting thing where you can drag blocks around and make games with that. But I was really young. I think my dad also taught me a bit. He had this Lego programming kit, Mindstorms it's called, and I had done that a little bit as well and really enjoyed it. But I really didn't know that I was programming because I thought visual scripting is... I was like doing visual scripting stuff and I didn't know it's in any way related to programming. Like I didn't know I could move past the visual stuff. I also did like Warcraft 3 mods in high school. That also with the moving the blocks. And then my friend showed me like basics of Java. And I realized, oh wait, the visual scripting stuff I've been doing is actually programming. It's just not actually writing the code, instead just moving blocks. But the fun is the same. Like I really felt always when I did visual scripting stuff, I felt that it was awesome. Like I really liked it. It was great. So when I realized that could actually be a job. Like I could actually work my whole life doing this thing that I really like doing. I was like, oh, okay, sign me up. Like, where can I study this thing? And I immediately started programming. I think I was 19 years old at that time.
Okay.
And I spent like the next 2 years just religiously programming every day. And then I got my first job, and I just did a lot of programming. I don't program even nearly as much today as I did then, even though I'm now working full time. But I just got like crazy excited about it. Yeah, in high school and in university.
Nice. And what were like the biggest challenges while during your entrepreneurial path so far? Was there any point where you were feeling uncertain? Is this the thing for me? Or
yeah, I think doubt it's always part of whatever you do. Like at least for me, I doubt a lot of stuff. I think the biggest doubts were when we started our consulting. Like I was kind of on the point. I hadn't yet done my bachelor's. It was like at the 4-year point. I was nearly finished with my bachelor's, but basically what the student fund, whatever the state gives you money for 4 years if you are not bachelor's. So that ran out. So I didn't get any support from the state anymore. So the first thing is like, of course now I don't have any money, so I need a job or need to finish my studies, but I still had some work to do with the studies, so I needed a job. I didn't have any money. So that was in fall of 2017, so we had already founded the company, but it was just education at that point, and it made me make a living for me. I could probably make like 5,000-6,000 a year from just the education side at that point, which just wasn't enough. Yeah. And then I started thinking like, well, I need to apply for a job, and I did apply for a couple of jobs. But then I got a message from a person who had been starting a company, and he's told like, I need programmers. Can you guys program this app for me? I was okay, cool. So now I don't have to go get a job. I can work through my own company. It's super cool. And we did that for 2 months, and he paid the first bill. but he didn't pay the second one because he didn't have funding. And I think that was pretty challenging because I was so excited that I could start a company and start building software as an entrepreneur instead of as a employee. And it kind of just felt like someone pulled a rug from under you immediately. Of course, the risks weren't that high because we hadn't invested money in the company, but it's still, at that point, it was 2 years of my time that I had invested in this endeavor, and it just felt like it just fell. But luckily, I'm not one to stay on bed and cry. So I just felt like, no, okay, well, we have to try harder, and we started calling all the companies in Oulu area asking if they're in need for workers and if we could work through our company, and we got one big Oulu company got excited about us because we were teaching kids, and some of their kids were actually in the Koodikärpät thing. So it, even if the education part isn't now the big deal in the company, of course we still make money through it. It's makes around 1 million of revenue, which is a lot, of course, but compared to the other 9 million we're doing, it's not that big of a deal. But I think the education side pushed us a lot because it got us a lot of vision, a lot of visibility in the Oulu area. It also got us a really good PR, like everyone knew that these were the guys that are teaching our kids, these are the guys that teach unemployed people, these are the young guys doing all the cool education stuff, and that really helped us both in finding employees at the start and also getting clients. And I think it still does, maybe.
Word of mouth, and
it's
just
it's like doing the good stuff, even if it's not for financial reasons, still gets eyes on you. I think it's something that entrepreneurs should maybe think, like not everything has to be about money. There's other things in life as well. And doing good gets you good karma, which comes back. At least I believe so. And sorry, I kind of lost the point. What was the discussion?
It's totally okay. I was going to ask.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was asking the first. Yeah, so the first project, we got the first client. Yeah, but at that point I was feeling a little bit like, what am I doing? And even after that, it's just like the company just started growing so fast that many times I kind of felt like, what am I doing? Like, what is happening? It's like pretty confusing. And because I started like an education business, and now I was heading to be like a software development consultant, and it was like a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to quickly like realize. And I still feel sometimes like dread over some things. Like I think it's just normal human stuff. Of course, like nowadays, when I'm doing my work, I feel like I have to be like really on top of my game because I'm the founder of the company. And I'm only a human after all. So I'm not always perfect. So when I'm not, I feel like I'm failing really easily because I need to be this top guy of the company because I'm the founder. So it sometimes causes me some dread, and I'm like stressed out about it if I'm not getting stuff done as fast as I would want to.
And what advices do you have like for guys that are just starting out their journey?
As a programmer or as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur. Yeah, I think what I mentioned, like doing stuff that you think are cool, even if they're not financially the best solution. As long as you're not putting your own money to something that you think is cool, if you're not prepared to just pay for it, like if you have to put 20,000 euros of your own money to something that you think is cool, but you know it's not probably going to make that much money, I don't think that's a good idea. If you're not prepared to just pay 20,000 euros for something cool and
risk it,
like leave it at that. But just try to follow like what you want to do. I've been following around like forums and different stuff on online about like starting entrepreneurs, and I think far too many people think about like, okay, you tell me something I could do to make as much money as possible, and I don't subscribe to that thought.
Okay.
Like it might be successful, but then you're doing something that you don't really enjoy. Is that
Yeah, it covers it.
it's difficult to it's very difficult to start a successful business if you're not into the thing that you're doing. Like if I had to like I think I know quite a bit about business now, and I could start like a company, let's say, what could be something I'm not interested in. Well, just imagine something that I'm not interested in. Maybe it could be successful, but like after half a year, I would feel bad, and the business would probably fail because I don't have any motivation to do it. And of course, like money could be a motivation, but why not start a company in something that you love? Because then you'd not only have the motivation, of course, for the money. Like of course, everyone wants money, but you also have motivation for the actual thing that you're doing, and. So it's much better. So instead of trying to ask like what makes the most money, ask yourself like, what do you actually want to build? What do you want to do? What service do you want to provide? What do you want to do for work? Yeah.
How big is Buutti right now, and what is there on the roadmap? Like after the acquisition, in which direction is Buutti heading?
All right.
If it's not a secret,
No,
of course.
maybe some of it is. But
Okay,
well,
okay.
like,
Just share the one that is.
So at this point, we have I think 10-ish employees, and our current strategy is to. I think we're going to focus more on the customer side. In the last 5 years, it was. Most of the software companies were just competing who can get the software engineers, and of course now the whole situation is kind of changing, and it's on its head because a lot of big software consulting studies have I don't know the English term, but sorry, like they're getting rid of people, like layovers, yeah, and also like lomautus, I don't know the English term, like they're on
silent quitting, or
they're on like 3-month leave and then maybe coming back.
Okay, sick leave, or
no, it's like the company fires them for 3 months basically, and then takes them back if they have money.
All right.
I don't know there's a word I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. But basically the companies are not doing that well. There's a lot of software engineers without work, so it's not difficult for a company to find engineers. And of course at that point the strategy has to change, and the strategy has to be to deliver to the customer something that they cannot get from the market. Of course, usually like the people with the most qualifications are not on the free market, so that kind of offerings. And of course, it's difficult to do strategy, but we're trying to throw things around what to do. We're doing pretty good at the moment, actually, comparing to the situation in general. We have most of our developers are still in projects, nothing too worrying going on. And I think personally I would like to build like Netum is doing, the company that bought us, Netum is doing these big public sector projects.
Okay.
And I've been working as a project manager for 2 years now. And I think it would be pretty fun and cool to manage like a big public project, because they always come to papers like that something fails or whatever, and I want to see what happens there, and maybe bring new perspective to it. And that would be cool. Like currently, the biggest project I've ever built was, I think, 80,000 euros.
Okay.
So I want to know what happens when you put like millions to software, like how the project goes. Maybe not as at the top,
Yeah.
but at least as an apprentice project manager, learning from someone who is how is a 10 million euro software enterprise product built. Because currently I know how to build an 80,000 euro one right now, or a 200,000 euro one maybe, but 10 times bigger. What
will be the difference?
Yeah, I want to see it because I've never led a project like that.
And what changed before and like after the acquisition? Were there any like major changes in terms of the operations inside the company?
Not really. We're trying to find like angles how to work together, and we found some cool ones. I'm not sure if I can tell a lot about those, but for example, we had a couple developers who we had hard time finding projects, and then Netum had some place in their projects for those people. And that's really, I think, one of the main things that we looked at. Like, it's economy is in downturn, so being able to have all your developers in a project, that's the main goal right now. Just like keep everyone employed. Yeah. So they are helping us with that, and of course in the future, like multiple stuff. At least I am really excited like about those public projects, but also Netum gives us a lot of possibilities to also do like mid-range products, because they have UI teams, they have like upkeep, DevOps, cloud systems, like stuff that I cannot yet do. Like I do like full stack development mostly, so if I have to put something on cloud, like I know the basics, but if I have to build like a complicated system on AWS or Azure, like I don't know how to do that. But now we have the skills for that. We have skills to UI design. I told you I've been drawing those UI designs since I was a kid, but I think I don't have the talent for it or whatever. I never learned how to do actually pretty ones. So now we have actually like designers who have devoted their life to making something pretty, and that's really exciting for me because I think it just brings us much more credibility in if we're like offering to some mid-sized company that we are actually like we're on stock exchange and we have big teams, we have separate teams. It's not just Peetu and two guys anymore. It's a big team with multiple people that we can give to the customer.
Change of topic. You're the second guest after Raju that's part of Toastmasters, and I want to ask you how you got introduced to Toastmasters.
So Toastmasters is a club for public speaking, and I just got sent a message from Arek, who is the president of the Oulu club, and he was telling like, "Oh, we have this cool club idea, and you should definitely come. Just see one time, just one time."
The catch.
Yeah, it's like a catch, and I got hooked up, and I've been going most of the time. Like I've skipped a couple. I've been sick or going to trips and stuff. But I think the last time he said that it's the 30th time, and I think I've been probably 20 to 25 times at least there. I think why I'm there is I felt quite nervous in front of crowds. Like I'm a software engineer nerd. It just didn't feel that natural. Of course, when as I've been doing this entrepreneur stuff, it has been constant learning of like being comfortable talking to people, being comfortable in front of crowds. Like I never had the worst social anxiety. I don't mean that, but I think I did have some. So in general, being an entrepreneur has helped me a lot. I don't think I feel any more that nervous talking to people, but I still felt like a bit nervous talking English in front of crowds. And I think just being on Toastmasters and speaking to public like every second week has really helped me like not feel that nervous. And it removed the panic.
Yeah.
I always felt when I walked in front of a crowd that I had this like fog that just jumped in my brain and I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. Even though I think from outside you couldn't see that, but inside I felt
You feel it,
felt
okay.
like that I'm deer in the headlights, just in a panic mode, just blurting words out. But now I don't feel that anymore. At least for the crowds that I've presented stuff, I feel confident, and it has really helped. Yeah.
And yeah, I attended like Toastmasters twice, and there was quite a big performance difference. In between there was like about a month difference, and just some of the participants improved their game quite a bit in just a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, also because Arek also recorded and like sent me my 2 performances there, even though they were like kind of short. I would love to continue with it and further improve it because there is like plenty of room to do so.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the energy of the people, it felt quite good.
Yeah, I think at start you can get better really fast, because it's most people can speak. It's a pretty basic human skill, but most people are also nervous. So when you get rid of that nervousness, it helps you. After that, it gets a bit more complicated, of course, when you're actually trying to change the way that you speak, because when you have spoken since you were like a 2-year-old, it's a lot of those things are very much woven into you. So changing that is not that easy, but of course, it's practice makes everything perfect. And I believe in constantly improving myself in any way I possibly can. Of course, sometimes you have to chill, but so that you don't get burnt out. But I much rather learn something new and improve my own skills than stay at home and watch TikTok or whatever.
Yeah. What skills do you think are needed like for future entrepreneurs, for people that are just starting and giving it a go?
What in the future?
Yeah.
I think everything is constantly getting faster. Like, I think if you ask entrepreneur from like 80s or 90s, of course, even then, like the internet game and those were like big changes. But I think that the change is getting faster and faster. Like, in my childhood, I didn't have even internet. Like, we got internet we had dial-up when I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
But that was super slow. Like, it couldn't, like for me, internet basically didn't exist. At least when I was under 8. And then when I was 10, we got broadband, and then I could actually go to internet and do stuff. And I started playing like online games, like RuneScape was my favorite as a kid, and I could socialize and chat with people online, and that was like a huge change. And that was only like 20 years ago. It's not that long of a time ago. And now if I look at my little sister who's 12, for that she couldn't even imagine what's life without internet. Yeah. And for me, even in my childhood, like internet was super normal. If I look at my mother or even someone who's like 10 years older than me, they probably didn't use any internet growing up, or maybe used very little of internet. And then just from that, like 5 years later, and everyone had a smartphone and internet on the go, and now 20 years later we're getting all these AI solutions, and everything seems to be getting much faster, and you really need to step up your game if you want to stay up to the speed. And at least I noticed that like the AI stuff is getting so fast that it's difficult to know like what all you can do. But if you're competing against people who know how to like use the latest tools, you're gonna lose if you're not using those latest tools. So I've been trying to research into the AI a little bit, so I'm not. I'm trying to use ChatGPT every day, like on my work, even though if I don't need it, like to get myself familiar with the new tools, because I think even though they're not perfect and people say, no, it's doesn't do anything yet. Well, 2 years ago, if you asked like whatever the DALL-E 2 or whatever it was, the first one, to draw you a human, you would get like this weird looking alien with 7 hands and 8 fingers in each of them, right? And now you can ask DALL-E and you get like a perfect. You don't even recognize it.
If it's a human,
yeah. So you can look at like maybe you can recognize it because you know what to look for. But if I printed like AI human and went to 3 years ago and showed you like, here is my friend Pekka, and you looked at the photo and you would see nothing weird with it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna look around if I see him around, and that's 2 years.
Yeah.
What about 20?
Things are moving fast right now.
Yeah. So if in 2 years we get from like weird looking aliens with 7 fingers to something you cannot even recognize, what is gonna happen in 5 years? Like like I hear so many people say like ChatGPT sucks. It's not as smart as human yet. Yeah. Because it's like year old.
Yeah.
Even in this last year, it has evolved like so much.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's not perfect yet. I like Google wasn't perfect in 2000. Computers weren't perfect at 89 or whatever. But it doesn't mean like in 20 years it's going to look so unrecognizable to someone from here. So you have to keep up.
Yeah. Are you excited like what the future has, or are you afraid, like in terms of AI, just speaking about it, because like if it's used with bad intentions, I can see a lot of harm done.
Yeah, I'm both.
Okay.
I'm super excited for all new tech, of course. So I'm on a tech field, so I cannot be not excited for something that is basically a new breakthrough. But I also already see huge risks, and there are already risks that for some reason haven't really realized. But like yesterday I went on YouTube and I saw an ad with Elon Musk talking about some crypto. Okay. And I was looking at Elon Musk like, this is not Elon Musk.
What?
So the ad used an AI generated version of like a deep fake of Elon Musk speaking, so at this moment it's like recognizable, but in like 3 years it's not. So how do you know what's real and what isn't in a couple of years?
And like it's recognizable for you. Imagine like
my grandma doesn't know.
Should never.
Yeah. And I'm sure they use those ads because the scam works. Yeah. Like they wouldn't run those ads if it didn't work. I'm sure some people go to those. People have gone for much dumber scams for the last 20 years. I get like these scams to my email. Everyone else gets them all the time. Yeah. People send those because they work. So the scams are getting more advanced, and if you don't know what you're looking for, you're gonna get scammed really easily. And with all the social media being so easy to push misinformation, like I am scared that bad. I think bad actors are already using AI to spread misinformation, and it's only gonna get much worse. And of course, change is always scary. Like if the AI gets faster and faster, I think the Sam Altman getting fired from OpenAI had something to do with their new model being so incredibly advanced that they are afraid that it's gonna be a little bit too advanced. So, of course, like, even if people are, well, that's not the problem now, it's not yet. But again, if 2 years you can see, like, so much progress. What happens in 20? I'm 29. I'm gonna be 49 years old in 20 years. And if everything advances this fast, like, are we getting the Terminators before I'm 60? I don't know.
Hope not.
Hope not.
Yeah. Okay. Let's speak about failure.
All
Do you
right.
have any failure moments in your life where you learned quite a bit from?
I think. Yeah, I have. I the first two businesses that I started.
Okay.
The first one, it went fine. Like, I don't think the business was a failure, or starting it was a failure,
Mm-hmm.
but it failed when the situation changed. So it was a software. I was doing like 50-50 share on with some business schooler who was teaching like high school students to prepare them for the entrance exams for
Mm-hmm.
the business school. So there were some books that you had to read to get in, and we made like this quiz site where the site quizzed you on those books,
Okay.
and then you could press buttons and it told you what to read on. So it's like,
Nice.
well, maybe you haven't read this book enough. There's like 4 books.
Mm-hmm.
Read the chapter 3 again. I think you have some holes in your knowledge in that part. And yeah, it was like super cool. And people bought it and they liked it, and like it didn't do that much money, but like it did some money and people liked it, and I was happy with it. As a student, even like 1,000 euros is a lot of money, so I was super happy about it. But then, then they changed how the entrance exam worked.
Oh shit.
So it was a good change in total, because the big problem was that people were studying their, I think it's matriculation exams, the
Mm-hmm.
kirjoitukset in Finnish, and they were studying to the entrance exams in the same time, and it just messed them up. So they changed it so that you can get to university with basically the same knowledge that you got from your matriculation exam, so maths, English, Finnish, and
Okay.
yeah. So they didn't have to read books anymore. So having a platform that quizzes you about entrance exam books is not really needed in that kind of environment. Maybe it could have been like changed to pivot to something different, but like it was making like a couple thousand euros a year, so I don't think it was business. I don't think there was like big business for there. Like we just let it like die.
How are you promoting it?
There were some ads, and I think he was promoting it in high schools, and I think he was doing like a good job with it. But it's just like now with more experience in business, like what failed with it. It's like your target audience is high school students, and
They don't have money.
they don't have money, and they have to ask their parents to pay for something, and it's a very niche group, and you don't get that much money. I don't think it's as a business it would have never worked as well as I would want to at the moment. It's like a nice side gig, making couple thousand euros maybe, but nothing bigger than that. The second, I started making software as a freelancer, and the first projects, like, they were really cool, but I undersold them for so much money.
Okay.
Like, I offered to do the first app for 2,000 euros.
How many hours it took you?
It took me a year.
A year? Oh my god.
I just like it was ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. I think I didn't even make any money in the end. I built it for a year, and I didn't make any money because at that point I started Buutti already. So I just said that I bought basically 2,000 euros worth of work to get it finished from Buutti, and in the end I made no money. And there was that project and another project that was like 4,000 euros, and it was bigger. Like, both of those projects were like 30 or 40,000 euro products, and I built them for 6,000 euros total. I mean, the products were cool, and I learned a lot from building them. So it wasn't like a mistake in that sense. But I nearly burnt out myself for 6,000 euros. That was definitely a mistake, and I realized quite fast that it's much more like before that I had built just a finance exam site, which was a really small app, and I thought like I can build something similar, but I didn't realize like
how big it is.
Like software is a bit weird in the way that it doesn't scale like linearly. Like if you have an app that took 2 weeks to make, if you have a 2 times bigger app, it doesn't take a month, and 4 times bigger app doesn't take 2 months. It's like 2 times bigger app takes already 2 months, and then 4 times bigger app takes like a year. It goes like logarithmically, and that's one big reason why it's so difficult to estimate how long it takes to make software, because it's not linear. It goes wildly up because the complexity causes like more complexity, and with systems interacting with other systems, you always have like more like it's complicated. It's like like an engine with huge amount of cogs, and imagine if one of those cogs fails, the whole engine stops. So if you have 3 cogs, it's really easy to make it work. But even when you get like 9, it's already 3 times more failure points, and all those add up, and when you have 30 of them, it's already a complicated machine, and you have to make everything work together. And I quickly realized that no, don't sell software like say that it costs 2,000 and I'm prepared to work till end of the time to get it finished. Get some hourly contract.
Lesson
learned, or at least have some way to exit that project, because oh my, it definitely wasn't worth it in financial sense. But yeah, I learned a lot, and the projects got finished, and they were for like kids and learning, so it was also like a good cause. So I don't think it was a mistake in that sense, but definitely not what I would have wanted.
But as you mentioned, you were close to a burnout. Have you experienced like a burnout yet, and like how you dealt with it, if you have?
I haven't gone to burnout, but I've definitely gotten like stress symptoms, and I think most entrepreneurs probably get them. I don't think I'm special in that way. Everyone in Buutti has gotten some kind of burnout symptoms, at least. Some more, some less. I don't. Maybe humans aren't meant to be entrepreneurs. I'm not sure, but it's so easy to get stressed out over like minute stuff when it's so much on the table. It's like like playing poker is not stressful, but when you're playing poker with 2 million euros on the table, it doesn't matter how like. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's gonna be super stressful, and yeah. So you get burnout symptoms. I have been on few sick leaves, and it's been such a great thing to have co-founders, because there's always someone who can like do stuff when you're not there. So when one person is feeling like too stressed out, they can just, well, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off and or a week off and get my head back straight. And yeah, I really feel for people doing like entrepreneurship alone, because they cannot like, or at least they feel so that they cannot step away for even like a week. Maybe they could. If someone listening to this is in a situation where they think that they're getting burnt out, that they cannot get even a week off, maybe you really should see if someone can like pick up after you for even that week, because if you get burnt out, then it's like you're off for your business is done. It's like
to take quite a bit of time.
It's like a health bar in a video game, and if you feel like you're low health, you have to go and drink some potions and wait for your health to go up, because if you die, then the game's over. And I think it's natural. It's just not talked that much. People are just hyping up this hustle culture thing, and I think it's complete bullshit, honestly. People telling that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go for a run. Exercise. I think it's good way to avoid burnout, like being in good shape. And when I started Buutti, I was in a really good shape. I think it helped because now that I'm not in a good shape anymore, I feel like I'm getting tired much more easily. So if you want to start a company, I think getting in shape is a good start because it also makes your mind more clear. But I don't subscribe to the thought that you have to wake up every morning 4 a.m. and get a cold shower and go to run 20 kilometers and then drink
work
some
18 hours afterwards.
Yeah, work till the evening and only drink like some milkshake that tastes like shit. Like I don't think that's the way to live life. And if that's what you need to become successful, then are you sure you want to even become successful? Like you're ruining your life for it. Like don't. I don't think I hustled that much. I think I would be lying if I told you that I woke up at 5 a.m. I don't. I wake up at like 9, honestly. But I'm a night owl. I like to work at late. But yeah, it's just like chill, little bit. If all your choices and all your work is going to be much better and much more meaningful when you are fully rested. If you're just gonna work yourself to death, then you're gonna end up. It's like 2 years of growing really rapidly, and then you're burnt out, and then it's just like then you're never going to like achieve the level where you can actually chill. And you get stuck to like a level of being nearly burnt out without your business growing. I've seen it happen many times. And it's always sad, and I don't want people to get stuck to that position. Yeah.
Are you thinking to apply for Power Bear pitching with Jonas?
Yeah.
Have you considered it?
But like I said, I hate hustle culture and cold showers, and I'm like I don't like cold water.
Yeah, this is why I was thinking about it. Because you know about the event, and I was just interested to see.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting to go. I want to go, but I don't like the hustle. I take hot showers
and sauna
and sleep late.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of more my thing. But I think if the requirement to get into pitch is to go to the cold river, then maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Or maybe I just put Mikko there. I go there and I'm gonna sit here and drink some hot cocoa.
Cozy. Yeah, nice. I was going to ask you for one book recommendation. It shouldn't be like. It's up to you.
Yeah. Now when I say that I'm sleep late and like hot showers, I'm gonna feel really lazy saying that I don't read many books.
It's okay.
I think I really like watching YouTube stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's more interesting because it's like short video. I think often when people write books, I try to read some books, and quite often they kind of repeat the same stuff over and over again. If I spent like, let's say, a week reading a book, or if I spend that week watching 20 different people and their opinions, I think I'm gonna get more watching 20 different people and their opinions. I read a lot of like online forums like Reddit, and I try to like read those. I think I just personally find that there's more value reading anecdotes from 100 people than reading one person's anecdote.
Fair enough. Okay.
But like, if nothing wrong with reading books, I probably should read some books as well. But it's hard to focus on. I like those like short form forum posts, blogs and YouTube videos. I think it's where I do most of my learning.
What about any events, do you have something that is going to happen in Oulu and is kind of related to, let's say, entrepreneurship, or that you're excited about?
Everyone should go to the startup weekend, of course, and
Startup weekend.
polar bear pitching as well. I think those are what at least I am waiting from the spring. Yeah, I'm sure. I at least if I'm not somewhere else, I'm going to go to the
Okay.
startup weekend. I think it's fun. As a mentor, maybe I was as a mentor there last time, and I think I gave some valuable feedback to people. At least I hope so. At least the people said that it was valuable, so I hope it was. And yeah, maybe if I can join some teams at some point, maybe. At the moment, I'm just focusing on Jonas and stuff that I don't want to. But like, it could be cool to just join a team as like a
Advisor, or
yeah, just be there and just give some advice, and then
Mhm.
not continue with the team, or just be like advisor kind of person.
Okay.
I think that could be interesting as well, because it's like the business validation and the creating a new business, but it's just fun. But I wouldn't join right now like a new startup probably. It's like I have to
Too many things
I have
on
to
your
I
shoulders.
have enough startups and companies
Yeah.
already. I don't currently need a new one, but like the experience of startup weekend is fun. I think making a presentation and making a business validation, I think the whole thing is fun, and then you go present it to
Mhm.
the judges.
Totally
That's cool.
agree with it. Yeah, actually, this was my first startup weekend that I attended, like the one that you were a mentor, and yeah, really great experience. Enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah.
Met a lot of great people.
Yeah.
And yeah, with some of them we're like working together now. So
Oh, all right, okay, that's nice. Yeah, you meet people. You always learn something, even if the company doesn't go anywhere, which usually happens because you find some mistake in it. But you always learn something, and you get to dive deep into completely new business. Like I researched like how much people drink beer in events and bars, and that was like interesting in itself. Like, oh, these companies are making millions selling beer. It's
Yes,
interesting.
okay.
Like, how many beers does an average Finn drink in an ice hockey game? I actually know that now.
you know how many? I'm interested.
I wrote it down. I can't remember, but
Okay,
I have
it's alright.
I have the info somewhere. I think it depended. It was interesting because it depends on the game. If it's finals, they drink more,
More,
and if it's
okay.
like a normal game, they drink less. I think in like finals, it was like 2 or something, like
Okay.
or
Okay.
1.5 or something like that. And I also know like how much they drink at nightclubs and in bars. It's really quite a difference. Like, well, of course it is. People are much
You
more
did
drunk
your
in a nightclub.
research, so-
Yeah, I've done some research. Yeah, it's fun researching a new business. Yeah.
Do you want to ask me something, or do you want to share something else? As I think, kinda, I'm over the non-existing agenda. So
Well, yeah, maybe I could tell a little bit like what I could tell a little bit more about like what I suggest like entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And like the business validation was like a startup weekend, which why is it important is I think in Finland we have a habit of, at least engineers do, they like building stuff. I like building stuff.
Yeah.
And you kind of build something and it becomes your baby, and you never ask anyone, maybe your friend, like, would this be cool? And your friend looks at like, yeah, it's cool, all right,
Okay.
yeah. But you never ask your customers if they what they want. And yeah, I'm guilty of it. I think everyone is guilty to it, at least in some ways. But it's just something that everyone should keep in mind. That you need to validate a product. It's annoying as an engineer.
Being social and going out.
Being
and asking
social and
your
going
customers.
out and asking people, talking with customers, it's not something people want to do.
Mhm.
But you really kind of have to if you want to know, if you don't want to waste your time, because you can build 2 years of product and then you release it and you realize no one wants it, and you could have done like Dropbox did and just put like website on, like we have this service, you can put your files into like a server on cloud and access them anywhere. Just put your email here and we'll tell when it's ready. And they hadn't even started building it. They didn't have funding. They had absolutely nothing. When they had like million emails there, they just went to a venture capitalist and said, we have a million emails asking for this product. Can you give us a couple of mil so we can build it? Like, it's like a
Okay.
yeah, and that same thought can be applied to every business. Like I went to a game jam for hyper casual game jams, and what they do is they make an advertisement. Like you have seen the mobile game ads that you click on the ad and the game doesn't even exist, and you're wondering, well, why are they using fake ads? And the reason why they're using fake ads is because the game doesn't actually exist. They are seeing if you click on the ad, because they know that if a lot of people are clicking on the ad, that the game is worth it to make. Instead of making a game, they make 20 ads, and then they pick the ad that got most clicks and make that game. It's a bit scummy, of course. Like people are clicking on the ads and they're like, where's the game? I want to play this game. But if you send them to, well, like a box that sends, put your email there, then they get the email when you're ready with the product. It's fine. Like you can sell your product even if it's not ready. Like just call your customers, ask if they want them, ask if for pre-orders. They don't have to pay anything. Just get them to write a paper that they will buy it when it's ready. And that will show that there's some need for your product. And it will also help when you're not feeling motivated, because everyone has those like times when you're not feeling motivated to do something. When you know that you have 10 customers waiting for your app, it's much easier to get out of your couch and get the laptop and go back to your couch and start programming, because you have someone who is actually waiting for it, and you know that there's a need, and you know that when you finish the product, people are going to love it and people are going to use it because you have already talked with people and they have told you that, and that's really valuable. And an engineer shouldn't forget that social pressure gets you to finish whatever you start. If you're alone and you don't tell about your project to anyone except maybe your friend, what stops you from not just quitting midway? You need to, at least I'm not, I would want to be such disciplined that I can just
continue no
matter what, but I'm not. I need to have a co-founder who's asking me when it's not ready yet. I need to have customers waiting for it. I need to have heard from people that where is it already, I'm waiting for it, because that keeps me going. It helps me with the motivation and discipline to have someone that you're accountable for. Yeah, and it's the same thing actually. Yesterday I was watching a video on music production, and he suggested the exact same thing. Like, tell the customer that the song is gonna be ready in next Friday,
even though it won't be.
Like tell and make it on Friday. Like just tell that the next Friday. But like give yourself deadlines.
Yeah.
It just helps. In whatever you do, it doesn't matter if it's software. Just have a deadline. Have people you're accountable for. Tell them what you're doing, and then they will guilt you if you haven't done anything.
Exactly. Like I can relate so much to it. Basically, what happened like with the first recording, as I already told you, the sound was pretty crappy. I had it opened for 10 days. And every day I was trying to do something new with it and trying to fix it. And yeah, last Monday I was like, spoke with my mentor and kind of came with a conclusion that either I'm posting it or I'm deleting it. And it's happening now because everything else was done, like doing the social media accounts, basically everything else. And yeah, I was like, it's not great, but it's still something. It's a start, and I just click the publish button and
you can tweak.
Learned from it.
Yeah, you can tweak anything for years.
Yeah.
There's no like if you like I did my first music I did. I tweaked the songs for years, like literally years. I think I started it took me like 1.5 years to get a song out from the point I started it. And it was like tweaking knobs and thinking, maybe it sounds better if I tweak it the other way.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid because it makes no difference. If I had just released the songs and made some new ones, I would probably be 2 times better or like 5 times better as a musician right now, because I would have made 5 times more songs and actually learned more. But I tweaked those 5 songs for like a year and I'm still not happy with them. So yeah, just like any business or anything that you're creating, stop tweaking it, release it, ask for feedback and tweak it afterwards, like make a better version next time. Like stop tweaking, release stuff, go. Yeah. It's like everyone needs a bit of a coach that tells them that like stop trying to find the best running shoe, just go run.
Right, yeah. The accountability part also is something that I find very valuable, because for me there has to be someone also, like as you mentioned, like we're not robots. I cannot do it, like I'm not that persistent.
Yeah.
But when I tell someone that I'm going to do it, and when I know that he's relying on it, even though if it's not a big deal or anything, like this kind of makes me continue.
And what I know about the entrepreneurs is none of us are really like superhuman. We're all just like normal people, but we just want to do things, and then it's of course everything takes effort. If you want to build stuff, if you want to create, you need to put some effort in. I think everyone is capable of that effort. Well, not everyone. I'm sure some people have problems in their life that makes it that they don't have like extra energy. That's fine. I understand that. But I would say most people probably can do whatever it is that they want to do. It just takes a little bit of doing stuff around and learning. Yeah, it's if you don't try, you never learn, and people get into paralysis trying to study as much before they start without realizing that they're not going to actually progress if they don't start. It's like trying to learn math from a book without doing a single calculation yourself. Like, how far are you? Yeah, I'm studying university level math, and like, have you ever counted how much 3 plus 5 is? Like, no, not yet. I'm gonna study everything first before starting. That's like how school works. Like, just start doing plus and minus, and then multiplication and division. And of course, like, you do that and it fails. And then fail 5 times. It's fine. Like, just put whatever you're creating out there, and if it fails, make a better one. But put it out there. Make it like whatever it is, art, business. It's like release it. And give yourself a deadline and release it when it's there. Even if you don't feel it's ready, just release it. And you're gonna be so much better. Yeah. I think that's
wise words.
That's what I feel.
Okay. Thanks for the very few people that made it to the end and watched or listened to this episode. Yeah, it really means a lot, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It was pleasure, and I don't know how to close it, but okay, let's shake hands. Okay,
it was nice to be here, and remember to watch the next episode as well. I think it's great.
Great out.